The Legend of the Cherry Blossom. In the past, there were no cherry blossoms in Futang like there are now. In a small village on the edge of Mount Fuji, there lived a handsome, unusually brave young man. When he was just 1 year old, a wandering Taoist came to the house, looked at the boy, smiled, placed a shiny black iron bar in his father's hand, and quietly left. It was winter at that time, it was snowing heavily. The Taoist disappeared in the snow, but his father was still absent-mindedly watching. Placing the iron bar in the young wife's hand, he said in a whisper, "Keep it safe and give this iron bar to our son when he turns 14 years old." Fate had arranged, he became a famous swordsman. The boy's father passed away. So young wife in custody. The shiny black iron bar was handed over to the boy when he turned 14 years old. He shivered and caressed that heavy mysterious object. A strange power, an incomprehensible desire filled his young and brave body. Before the mother could say anything, the boy trembled and exclaimed in choked emotions, "I must become the most famous swordsman in this country." The young man came to the theater to ask to be taught by a famous samurai. The samurai looked at the young man from head to toe, pensive and motionless for hours. Finally, he sighed and muttered to himself, unjustly, and accepted. Time flies. The youthful age of 18, full of vitality, comes to the swordsman. His swordsmanship makes even the most heroic samurai afraid. But what about the iron bar? He personally forged it into a powerful, shining sword. But not yet. A truly precious sword must be bathed in blood on the day of battle, knowing whose blood to dip this powerful steel blade into when he has never had an enemy, when he has never faced a bandit, when he has not yet found any reason to have a duel. At this time, his mother and teacher had passed away. The only daughter of the famous martial artist of the past is his only remaining loved one. Every day, when the sun had faded on Fuji's sun and night had filled the mountain village, the girl would sadly look at him sitting motionless, contemplating by the fire. He no longer smiled, his eyes were as cold as snow. He hugged the sword and dreamed of the day it would be bathed in blood to become the sword unrivaled in the world. Dear brother, is this sword everything to you? If it is not bathed in blood and filled with sacred air, will you forever be sad? Looking at the fire, the young man caressed the sword in his arms and said slowly and firmly, "Just sadness?" No. For him, the sword is his career, his life, his everything. How can he consider himself a true samurai when his sword has never been saturated with blood? Oh my God! You will die! Why these days so calm? Why didn't any of the robbers urge him to go down to the sword? Is there no crazy person challenging you? She smiled painfully. She just asked to confirm her determination, dear brother. Just let me hold your sword for a moment. Holding the cold, shiny black sword, the girl looked at him with deep sad eyes and then suddenly stabbed straight into his heart. Blood drenched her slender body, staining her white, virginal kimono pink. The boy panicked and howled in horror, reaching out to pull the sword from the girl's chest. Under the flickering firelight, the sword glowed with a brilliant blue color, its aura flashed with extraordinary splendor. It was drenched in blood. But since then, the young man was all alone. There are no samurai like to be a friend with you. They looked away when facing each other on the narrow road. They leave when he entered the tea house. They refused when he challenged them to a fight. Until one day, a winter afternoon, when the first snowflakes of the season had just fallen, the boy holding his sword came to the girl's grave. He whispered, "Forgive me, I understand now." He calmly plunged the tip of the sword deep into his stomach, made a strong incision, then pulled out the sword and collapsed next to the grave. The precious sword was stuck deep into the earthen grave, and the snow kept falling. By morning, the snow had embraced the boy and the grave in its arms. Only a strange flower tree remained, growing up to produce bright pink flowers. No one knows that the flower transformed from that sword. People named the flower Cherry Blossom. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.